All right, good afternoon and welcome to today's media availability for the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. At this time, we have our coaches and our student athletes, so we will start off with an opening statement from our coach and then go to questions directed for our student athletes and then proceed with questions for coach. The Demon Deacons, they are the number 2 seed here in the Morgantown Regional. They have won 38 games this season and enter their 5th straight postseason appearance, tying the longest streak in program history dating back to 1998 to 2002. To speak to the media is head coach Tom Walter, joined by infielders Dalton, Wentz, and Kade Lewis. Coach, if you'd like to start off with an opening statement.
Yeah, thank you. First and foremost, we're thrilled to be here. What a great venue and college baseball town. Coach Mazey's a good friend of mine. We're from the same hometown, and kind of what he's built here and what Coach Saban has continued these last couple of years is beyond impressive. I know the crowds are going to be great. We're sold out every game. Great stadium. We like our club, and we've got a good team. So we're excited to be here, and just proud of these guys, and proud of Kade and Dalton, the seasons they've put together, and the leadership they've shown all year. So we couldn't be more excited about this opportunity.
Thank you, Coach. All right, we will open up questions for our student athletes.
Postseason's always a little bit different. What's your mindset going into a series where one bad inning can really influence the outcome of your whole rest of the season?
Yeah, I think it's just taking it pitch by pitch, not looking too far ahead, looking at the game ahead of you and even the pitch ahead of you. You got to keep it small. You can't get too caught up in the future or even the past. You got to just keep looking at the pitch that's going on.
Yeah, I think like Kate said, one of the things we talk about is winning one pitch at a time. So when you get in a series like this with 4 really good teams and when you're in the postseason and things start to speed up, you just got to get back to winning one pitch at a time and go from there.
You're playing Kentucky, SEC team, SEC reputation. Does that matter to you guys, the ACC, SEC kind of rivalry, or do you not think about that at all?
I mean, I don't really think it makes a difference to us. I mean, good teams are good teams, whether you're in the Power 4 or you're mid-major. I mean, there's good teams all over the place. So when we show up to the yard, we like to talk about we're just playing the game, like we're playing the game inside of the game and trying to win certain parts of the game to be on the final outcome. So not really, no.
Guys, what's the challenge of trying to prepare to face multiple teams in one weekend? Like, obviously, I know you guys just did that for the ACC tournament, but what goes into trying to prepare for multiple pitching staffs, multiple different looks, multiple hitters you might have to face on the other side?
I think our coaches do a really good job at creating scouting reports for both sides, make it really easy for us to execute our plans. Bill Salento and Matt do a really good job. Matt, defensively, like where we're aligned, he puts a lot of work into it, and then Billy spends a lot of time with the analytics to create a good attack plan for each pitcher we're going to face. So they put a lot of time into it.
You guys play for a well-respected program, so everywhere you guys go on the road, it's you guys have kind of a target on your back, and the fans might be a little more raucous towards you. So with the opportunity to maybe play West Virginia, knowing that the fan base is going to be out, how excited are you guys to just be in an environment that's going to be pretty electric?
I think it's one of my favorite parts about baseball is when you get into atmospheres like that. We went to Tennessee last year and played in front of their group. I think this place is going to be every bit as electric. So just to get into a playoff environment and to hear the crowd be so loud and everybody's in tune with everything, I think it makes the game so much more fun.
Any further questions for our student athletes?
What did you think of the ballpark?
I thought it was beautiful. It's my first time here. I know Dalton's been here, but I thought it was beautiful.
Yeah, I played in the draft league here coming out of high school for probably 20 games, and this was our home yard, so it was super cool to come back here and get to be back on the field. It's a super cool venue. Even the games when we were in summer ball, there was a bunch of fans here, so to get to see it in the college environment is going to be really fun.
Who was your coach the year that you were here?
Coach Karp was the coach when I was here. It was like the year before he left to go coach for the Jumbo Fish, I think is who he's with, Jumbo Shrimp or something now. Yep.
I'm sure you were committed to Wake by then, but Carp tried to get you to come here at all?
So I actually was not. I decommitted from South Carolina and actually committed to Wake while I was in the middle of my process down here.
Dalton, were you able to tell your team a little bit about the field, how it plays, where to hit it, how to field balls off the wall, any of that?
I didn't get to play any outfield, so I didn't have much for the outfielders, but I told the infielders the surface is super true. It's pretty quick turf, so just when we got to get out there and get reps on it and get comfortable with it, they understood what I was saying.
Any more questions for our athletes? All right, Kate, Dalton, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll open up questions for Coach now.
Coach, for the uninitiated, can you tell us about your "Make Them Feel You" motto?
Yeah, that started a couple years ago with Nick Kurtz and his group. We had a team retreat. We've been doing a team retreat the last couple of years. We go away the first weekend of fall baseball, and to these cabins in the woods one of our alums has. It's kind of an old paintball farm, and we'll spend 2 days there. And they've got a basketball court, and the team book we read that year was Legacy, about the New Zealand All Blacks, and we wanted to come up with a team motto, and the guys broke out into groups, and we kind of workshopped it, and they came up with Make Them Feel You, and what that means for us is we certainly want our opponent to feel us, but we want the fans to feel us. We want umpires to feel us. We want people who watch us on TV to feel us. Our brand of baseball. We want to be true to ourselves and be consistent.
And this is going really far back, but Wake's 1955 College World Series, they had to play here in Morgantown. So do you take it as a good omen coming back here? Or?
I got to be honest with you, I did not know that. So thanks for that tidbit of information. But yeah, that 55 group, we still got a couple of those guys alive, which is pretty awesome. We seems like we lose one every couple of years these days. But it's a spirited group, and I enjoy staying in touch with the guys. Billy Ray Barnes just passed away. He was kind of the heart and soul of that team. So it was a big loss for us.
Coach, what do you remember about facing West Virginia several years ago in 2017? I know it's different players, different head coach, obviously, but what do you remember, and are there any similarities to this team versus that team?
Very similar. Again, very aggressive on the base paths, very well coached. They run a lot of pickoff plays, and they do things defensively that a lot of teams don't do. So they play an aggressive style of baseball. So they're looking for free bases all the time. So you've got to be aware of that. And obviously we've got to get past Kentucky before we have to worry about West Virginia. But I think they're very similar clubs. Those two, and similar styles. And Coach Sabins was under Coach Mazey, so that would track.
I know your program puts a big emphasis on pitching and having the best pitching staff you possibly can. Your plan and how you attack this weekend from a pitching standpoint, how do you go about that this weekend?
Yeah, we're going to throw our number one first. That's always a big debate in these, whether you try to save him for the second game. Kentucky's number one's really good, so we're going to line two number ones up. West Virginia is not going to throw their number one in the first game, which is exactly what I would do and what we did in 2017. And so if we can get through the first game, then I know we're going to have to beat two number ones to be 2-0 in this regional, which is not going to be easy to do.
So with the scrimmage that you guys had earlier in this year, what's your relationship like with Steve Sabins, and what have you thought about the program he's built in the 2 years as his head coach?
Well, I don't know Coach Sabins as well as I know Coach Mazey, but nothing but respect, obviously. I mean, what they've built here, over the past 10 years or 12 or whatever it is truly impressive. They've become one of the college baseball blue bloods, and that's not easy. That's not easy to do, and it usually starts with facilities, but it also starts with a program that's super consistent, that takes care of their players, and they've done that here. They've developed their players. You see guys like J.J. Weatherhold, and now you got Gavin Kelly, like it's just one first rounder after another coming out of here. So it's been fun watching it from afar, and although we would have loved to host the regional at home, we fell a couple games short of that. And if we're going to go somewhere, I'm glad it's here.
Coach, you mentioned trying to be true to yourself. Kentucky is a team that tries to force you out of that comfort zone. How much emphasis have you been putting with your team about trying to stay true?
Yeah, fortunately for us, we played Duke and Louisville down the stretch the last couple weekends, and both those ball clubs run the bases very similarly to Louisville. So I feel like we've been prepping for that style of offense here for the last 4 weeks or so, which is good. So we put in some pickoff plays and some other things that we didn't do earlier in the year just to combat Louisville first and then Duke behind that. Both those two teams are the top 2 teams in our league in terms of stolen bases, and I know Kentucky's right there. So again, we've done some things to try to combat that, but the key for us is we know they're going to get their stolen bases and they're going to create some havoc. We've just got to respond to that. The outs after the free 90s are just as important as the not giving up of the free 90s.
Is there anything specific about Kentucky that stands out to you? They're a team that just squeaks into the tournament. Maybe they have a chip on their shoulder. What have you seen on film that maybe stands out to you?
Well, again, their top 4 hitters are really good. Bell's going to be a first rounder, and he's as good as anybody in the country. And they're good up and down the lineup. They can beat you from anywhere in the lineup. So, you could say that they just squeaked in, but they're an NCAA tournament team, and they're battle tested. They went through the SEC. They swept Alabama to open the year and won a series against Tennessee. So, they'll be ready tomorrow. And again, like I said, their number 1's good. They got some firepower in the bullpen. So they're a good club. We'll certainly have our hands full.
How well do you know Coach Mingione?
I don't really know him that well. I talked to him really for the first time in the off season when we were trying to hire an assistant coach, and he was recommending somebody, and that was really the first time I ever had a conversation with him. Was that time? Haven't talked to him since. So tomorrow at home plate will probably be the next time I talk to him.
Coach, it sounds like Kentucky is healthy for maybe the first time this year. Would it be foolish to look at their record and make assumptions about what kind of team they are, and then come in here and they're at full strength and they surprise you?
Well, they're not going to surprise us. We know they're good. I mean, again, you don't have a 32 RPI and go through that league and make the NCAA tournament. It's not easy to make the NCAA tournament out of that league. We're not going to be surprised about how good they are.
Coach, how differently, and I don't know if you can even tell this just on today's batting practice or what you've seen on film or whatever, but how differently does this ballpark play with balls in the air versus the ballpark you guys normally play in and maybe some other ACC parks you typically go to year in and year out?
Yeah, it's always wind dependent. Our guys were asking me today, does this park play big or small? And I think it just depends on the wind, right? Like anywhere else. Like our park at times plays really small, as we've seen, but our park at times plays really big, when the wind's blowing in. So today the wind was blowing out a little bit. I don't know if we'll have the same wind tomorrow or not, but today the ball was carrying today. We'll see what tomorrow brings. But we talk all the time about our team. You got to be able to play to the conditions. You can't have the same offensive approach on a day where the wind's blowing straight in as you do on a day the wind's blowing straight out. And same thing, you got to pitch a little differently on those days too. And you got to have some adjustability in your attack plans based on the conditions of the field. And as we saw, you get to Omaha and nobody homers there, right? So you got to have a team that can win in different ways.
Any more questions for Coach? Okay, thank you, Coach.
All right. Thanks, guys.